Angry Joe here, and I'm with Matt, the Senior Community Manager for Final Fantasy Reborn. That's right. What exactly has it been reborn from?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, we started out with Final Fantasy XIV in 2010, and this August we'll be releasing a Realm Reborn. And Reborn pretty much encompasses every part of the game. I mean, story, graphics engine, the world itself, every area itself, everything has been redone.
Okay, so a lot of people have some questions regarding all the new features. What has radically changed? Has combat changed? Can we talk a little bit about class? Let's start with combat.
Okay, sure. Yeah, the combat system has been revamped quite a bit. It's a lot more fluid now. One of the big complaints we had in the first game was that, things are very static. Once you started to do actions, you kind of get froze into the floor. Yeah, you'd be basically stuck until you were done. It was a very slow process. We even added auto attack later. In a Realm Reborn, it's like a lot more quick, a lot more fluid. It's a lot more improved.
Yeah. So, are you actually moving, or do enemies and bosses have tails that they're about to attack and stuff like that? So you stay moving?
Yeah, you do actually. We think it's important to telegraph a few of their bigger attacks, but we also keep you guessing. We don't tell you exactly what they're going to do. But for some of the bigger things, we do have nice new charge meters that say, hey, something's going to happen, you need to move out of the way. It's not so much like, hey, I'm a tank, I'm just going to face this monster in the face, and I'm just going to stand here and spam my actions. Now it's like, oh, okay, Ifrit's going to breathe fire in my face. Well, I got 3 seconds, let's get out of here, let's move out of the way.
So it's not exactly like, let's say, the recently announced Final Fantasy Versus. It's not like action-adventure like that. It is still across, but you wouldn't exactly call it turn-based or anything like that. It's a hybrid of the two systems.
Right, exactly. We have actions that have a global cooldown, so you're really on your toes, 2.5 seconds. You can speed that up with your gear and things like that. Your abilities are on different timers, so you're basically always watching and making sure what you're doing is optimal. But yeah, it's definitely not like enemy takes a turn and then the player takes a turn, things like that. So it's definitely like a lot more fast-paced.
Are there any new classes? Did you guys any new class? Can we play as ninjas? Can we do, what different classes can we play as this time around?
Well, fans have really been asking for a lot for the new classes. We just announced we have our Arcanist coming soon. That's going to be a new class. We also have a new job. We announced a summoner. So people, Final Fantasy fans are huge fans of summoners. And we just recently teased the announcement of a new job called a scholar. And we haven't released too much details yet, but we'll probably be doing so in the future pretty soon.
Okay, any new playable races? Like my girl loves the bunny race. What do you call them? I don't...
The Viera, yeah.
The Viera, yeah. Can you play as the Viera? Can we play as the bunnies?
Well, we haven't announced new races, but what we have done is we've added new genders. A lot of fans, in the first game...
Genders, what?
Yeah, so in the first game we had Mikote. They're like the female cat race.
Okay.
And we didn't have the male version, so there's only the female version. And the same thing for the Rogadin, the big burly guys, we only had the guys. But in A Realm Reborn, we're actually releasing female Rogadins and the male Mikote. So that's going to be like our newest introduction to the game. We also have another Hure. It's a Highlander, and they're kind of like the buffer girls. And they're like, before we just had the guys.
Amazonian.
Exactly. They're a lot more sure of themselves, and it's pretty cool. So those are our 3 new genders that we didn't have before. And Yoshida, our producer and director, has been talking about adding different races in the future. So
okay, there are plenty
we'll have to keep watching out soon for announcements.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the social features. What has been improved there? A lot of people are interested in guilds. Obviously, they want to try to. I mean, the game launched once.
Right.
Wouldn't exactly say it performed perfectly. So, what have you added on the social side and the guild side?
Well, before we had only a link shell system. It's pretty much just a chat channel. So it's kind of like your friends can get together and kind of do things that are fun if you organize it yourself. And while those do make a return in the Realm Reborn, we actually are introducing a brand new kind of guild system that you're more familiar with called free companies. And doing that is going to offer a lot more of the benefits that we were missing in the first game. So things like, you have a guild or free company housing, you'll be able to like get equipment and storage for your guild, and by doing certain tasks, you'll be able to do things like get XP bonuses as a guild and things like that. So we're really making sure that we're putting the group and community first and foremost in a Realm Reborn.
So can you do guild PvP or anything like that?
We haven't announced too much about our PvP, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have things, we've talked about having leaderboards, we've talked about having scoring systems and things like that, and I'm pretty sure we probably can see some of that in the future.
Okay, what about your current fans who stuck by the game, who said, you know what, I like this, I don't care what anybody else says. Are you doing anything for those people who have already been playing now that you're pretty much, re-releasing the game? Any concessions or anything for them?
Oh well, we were listening to them for the entire run of 1.0. We continue to listen to them because it's very important we get those guys happy with what we're doing. We've been inviting them to our alpha tests early, very before even we're in beta. We're doing our alpha tests with those guys, making sure they're aware of our changes and making sure we're communicating to them as much as possible. And one of the big things we're doing now is making sure that our feedback is as transparent as possible. Like recently in our beta test, we released a huge, I can't even think, 600, 700 reply document. It's like, here's the feedback, here's our reply, here's our status, and we're making sure that it's very transparent. Those guys are very aware of what we're doing because it's very important to us. That they stuck, like you said, they stuck with us through the hard times. And we have a few in-game perks for them too. We have some really cool in-game items, and there's also a few other things we can't say too much yet, but
yeah, that's always nice to reward them for sticking with the game. I personally didn't get into it. I will give it a shot the next one, but I will want to touch on real quick any improvements to the story or your particular character. Will they have a dynamic story? Like how exactly does that work in the game?
Yeah, the storyline is really basically redone now. We had a big finale for 1.0. I don't know if you guys have seen our huge end of the era trailer. We had Bahamut basically come and destroy the world, he's setting up the story for A Realm Reborn. And one of the things we're doing now is we're going to try to have a lot more interactive stuff, a lot more of, making sure your character's at the forefront and you're aware of what's happening with your story as well as your friend's story. Because Final Fantasy, one of the pillars is story. And so that's one of the things that we feel like, MMOs really could do more of, and we're really excited to do it in our game.
Okay, so you heard it here. Let's actually figure out when will the game release and what platforms will we see them on?
Well, we've announced our release date of August 27th. That's going to be launching on the PlayStation 3 and the PC. And we just recently announced our PlayStation 4 version will be coming next year, so I'm sure we'll have more details on that. People that are excited right now, we're actually in our beta test, so people can go and try out and sign up for our website and try.
But not Xbox.
Right, no, not Xbox yet. Right now, we're focused on our current platforms. We're really making sure that we have our current people, because we promised PS3 for quite some time now, so we got to make sure we do good on that promise, and then for PS4, it's really simple, just to make sure that we carry the community over. So
is there crossplay between PS3 and PC?
Right. So PS3 and PC people will be on the same servers, playing together and talking.
It would be the same subscription? Do they have to repay for both games?
So basically, your subscription will carry for your single character, and you just need to buy the other platform. But once you've associated that to your account, you're good to go. You can play on either platform.
Okay, cool. So in addition to the mainline story, will we have fun side activities, side quests, chocobo racing, stuff like that to really extend the gameplay hours? Like, is this a big ass game?
Yeah, we started talking about Yoshida, our producer and director. He's a huge fan of Final Fantasy. He knows that there's a rich heritage there, and he's dropped hints on things like the Golden Saucer from Final Fantasy VII making an appearance, maybe for mini games and things like that. That's pretty big. And then
I know there was already chocobo racing, right? So, is there anything?
Racing yet.
Oh, no, not racing. All right. Okay. So maybe chocobo
so
racing.
We've talked about raising chocobos first and foremost. So you're gonna be able to raise up your
pets.
We do have minions, yes, little pets that'll follow you around and kind of, we also have companions. Actually, you can have a chocobo companion that will fight along your side in the battle. So you can, say you're going out soloing and you're like, I could use someone to heal me, but you're on a class that can't heal. So maybe you want to bring out your chocobo companion and have them be a healer, and they'll fight next to you and do attacks with you and things like that. It's really cool. We started showing some of that in our E3 trailer. You'll actually see a chocobo by your side attacking with you. So that's
nice.
Really cool.
Okay, and what about the party system and raids? Have you increased the number of players in the party? Made any improvements there? And talk a little bit about raids.
Okay, well, raids
or end game content.
End game content, yeah. It's been a huge focus for us, as you know, as an online game. It's very important. In version 1.0, we only had a few that were only sustainable for a few years, but this one oh man, I can't even imagine how many the numbers are. I think we've announced more than 10 already and 15 in the beta. That's the beta version, and there's going to be more in the actual version. But when it comes to the party size, it's still 8, but we've announced that we're going to look into doing some bigger parties, like multiple party raids in the future. Yeah, we've talked about, as I mentioned, you remember previously for Final Fantasy content, the Crystal Tower. It's from Final Fantasy 3, and that's going to be playing a big part in Realm Reborn, and that's going to be some raids that are you're going to need a lot of people for.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much for your time, Matt. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.